What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Bourbon and Bets. It's been a little while, but I am your host, Zach Stonerock, and joining me on today's episode, I have the one, the only, Mr. Avery Cunningham. Avery, welcome back to the show.
Zach Stonerock, how the heck are you, man?
Oh, man, I'm wonderful. Feels good to be back. Excited to talk a little bit of basketball. We've been on a pretty long hiatus. I don't think we've actually recorded a episode since the Super Bowl.
Yes, it's been a little while. Lots changed in Cincinnati Bengals won the Super Bowl. Gas prices went up from about $4 from about 85 cents a gallon. There's wars going on. Might be going into recession. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. All that was factual except for the Bengals winning the Super Bowl. The Bengals did not win the Super Bowl.
In my mind, they won the Super Bowl. Okay.
Hey, they made it to the Super Bowl. So for you, that's like winning the Super Bowl.
No, for me, I don't know what that means.
For you, I mean, for Bengals fans, for Bengals Nation, being able to make it that far. Honestly, I mean, you guys should be pretty happy, pretty proud with how that played out.
Yeah, it's as a fan, I was impressed with how the season went. I was just gotta build on it, and it's going to be hard to get to the Super Bowl again. How the AFC is stacked, but it's still a possibility. Nobody expected the Bengals to get there this year, so it still can happen. So,
and they're investing in that offensive line, which is what they haven't done in a long time, and it was very evident in the Super Bowl that not just in the Super Bowl, honestly, for the whole season, that offensive line was the piece that was holding the team back. So it is nice to see them investing in the big boys up front.
Yeah, it is nice to see they made some signings. Probably make some draft selections there as well. To ensure it up. Need a couple guys to step up as well. But yeah, it should be a better rotation there.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to football season starting. The Panthers did not really they haven't made any splashes yet in the offseason. We did bring DJ Moore back, signed him to a nice long contract. Arguably one of the most explosive young receivers. I'd probably put him up top 5 for young receivers in the league, up and comers. Just got to get him a good quarterback. Obviously I was high on Sam Darnold last year. He got exposed as soon as Christian McCaffrey went out. So that
real high on Sam Darnold there. Yeah.
I actually just listened to a podcast with him this morning. I can't remember which podcast it was, but as soon as he started talking, I was like, man, I really hate this guy. I don't like his tone. I don't like his demeanor. Yeah. I'm not happy he's our quarterback still, but hopefully we can pick up either Willis or Pickett in the draft.
Yeah, good luck with that. I appreciate you having so much faith in Sam Darnold. Because of you, I made the fantasy football playoffs in our league. Obviously, I came up a little short. A little couple things fell out of place, but hey, we'll be back next year, and I hope you make that decision again.
There's always next year. That's the beauty of fantasy football. You don't have to worry about getting fired either. You don't have an owner of the team. You are the owner of the team, so you don't have to worry about being fired.
Yes, indeed.
But you were definitely one most improved for the fantasy football league.
Yeah, thank God for that.
So shifting gears, I love football. You love football. The listeners probably love football. Unfortunately, there's no football really going on right now. We got the draft coming up. Combine just passed.
USFL.
That's going to be happening. The XFL had a lawsuit against them. I didn't read all the details on that, but so it looks like The Rock is struggling a little bit there with the legal side of things.
Well, they've been struggling, with COVID, derailed everything. So
yeah.
Well, yeah, they got a ways to go to get that back up and running.
For sure. So yeah, until that time comes, until college football starts, until the NFL starts back up, it is basketball season. It's playoff time. The play-in tournament, I guess, play-in games start tomorrow. Yep. Kicking things off with the Cavs and the Nets. followed by the Clippers and the Timberwolves. For the listeners out there who aren't familiar, essentially the way that the play-in is set up, you got 7 and 8. They play for the 7 spot. And then the loser of that game goes down to play the winner of the 9 and 10 seeds that play each other. And then the loser of the 7-8 game plays the winner of the 9-10 game for that 8th spot. So that happens on both sides, Eastern Conference, Western Conference. And then that's kind of how the tournament is set at that point. So in the East, we have the Cavs and the Nets, which we already hit on, 7 and 8 there. And then you got the I actually wrote this on the wrong. I wrote down the same name on both conferences here, but luckily I studied, so it's actually the Hawks and the Hornets in the East also, and then you got the Spurs and the Pelicans in the West, playing the winner of the Clippers Timberwolves. So I don't think I said that very clear, but to summarize, you got the Cavs and the Nets. And then you have the Hawks and the Hornets, and then you have the Clippers, Timberwolves, and the Spurs and Pelicans. So, so that's what's going on with the playing games right now. Unfortunately, so Ohio finally gave the green light for sports gambling, so it passed House, Senate, and then got signed by the governor, but they're still dragging their feet. So we're probably not expecting to see sports gambling go live until January of 2023. Very unfortunate. They are, it could happen before that. There might be a plan to expedite it, but their argument is that they want to get all these plans in place. They want to make sure that they get it right. And for me, it's more so that every state surrounding us is already doing this. So what, like, are we trying to reinvent the wheel? Why don't we just utilize one of the plans that one of our surrounding states already has in place? But there's a lot of politicians that are getting paid by a lot of lobbyists to make these decisions. So
as always,
man, it's just, I'm just out here just trying to place a little sports wager on an app on my phone, or just go to Hollywood Casino and place the app. But looks like we're gonna have to wait just a little bit longer. But let's go ahead and jump in and talk about these games. So we're going to kick things off with the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Brooklyn Nets. So this is truly a tale of two teams that shouldn't be in this position, right? So they're in the play-in tournament. A lot of people didn't think the Cavs were going to be good enough to make it to this point. And then the Brooklyn Nets were supposed to be the most dominant team in the East. And here we are sitting at a 44-38 record for both of these teams. One overperformed, one underperformed. Granted, there was a lot of things that happened in Brooklyn with Kyrie not being able to play because of his vaccination status. The James Harden fiasco with him being shipped out, and Ben Simmons is there now, but he's still out. So a lot going on up there. And then Cleveland, I would say that they really shocked the world. I mean, they got a lot of young talent between Darius Garland, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley. Those two big guys, Allen and Mobley, have really propelled this team forward. You still have veteran leadership with Kevin Love coming in off the bench. And, when he needs to play a role, he plays a role. Karis LeVert is there. He's a Pickerington guy. So for the listeners out there, Central Ohio podcast, Pickerington is a suburb out here, but he's from Pickerington, so it's nice to see a local guy making it. So that's exciting to see. But the winner of this game gets the 7th seed. They go on to play Boston in the official first round of the playoffs. I guess we'll call it that. So again, the Cavs and Nets are both 44-38. The Nets are favored by 8.5 points in this one. Against the spread this year, Cleveland is 34-25-3. Brooklyn is 24-39-2. So Cleveland does a little bit better against the spread. And then the over under is 228.5. Do want to point out a few significant injuries here. Jarrett Allen not expected to play, at least the most recent reports. He has a fractured finger, so it's not looking promising for him. Brooklyn, obviously Ben Simmons is still out, battling through some back issues. Seth Curry, considered day to day, is more so probable. Has an ankle injury. But I believe that's all the injuries. So when we're looking at these lineups for Cleveland, we basically have Garland, Okoro, LeVert, Markkanen, and Mobley. And then on the other side, we got Kyrie, Seth Curry, Kevin Durant, Bruce Brown, and Andre Drummond. So on paper, I would say that it's not really evenly matched. I would take Brooklyn here. Straight up. However, that value alone for the money line is not great. Me personally, I don't know. I know that they just played this past Friday on the 8th, and the Nets won by 11. I think there's a different aspect to the game. There's a lot of emotion in this game, especially for the Cavs, who have they have a lot to prove. Like we mentioned, they're not supposed to be here. So I would lean towards taking the Cavs plus 8.5. But Avery, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this game and who you think is going to come out on top.
Yeah, I'm it's actually one of those times where we actually agree. I am going to take the Cavs plus 8.5 as well. I don't feel as comfortable with that. Only the reason I do feel comfortable with that is just because it's like a playoff game. You're playing for your basketball, the rest of your 2022 basketball season. If Jared Allen was playing, I think it would be, definitely would be a closer game. The spread would be a lot, a lot closer, to zero, but he's not going to play, and Cleveland's defense, kind of suffered like from that. I believe they're like, since the All-Star break, they're like the 7th worst defense. Before the All-Star, like they end up finishing 6th overall, but after the All-Star break, their defense hasn't been very good, and Brooklyn's defense hasn't been been that good throughout the whole season. So I think I'm gonna go with the Nets here. The Nets to win, but the Cavs to cover. Obviously you got the two flamethrowers, and Kevin Durant and Kyrie. But I mean, outside of that, they're not really that deep. KD, Kyrie's going to play a lot of minutes. Most of the starters are going to get all the scoring done. So the starters are going to have to play well. And if the Cavs want to win, they're going to get contributions from everybody, all the role players. Kevin Love, Rajon Rondo. I think this game's going to be closer than what people think it is. But I am going to take the Nets to win, but the Cavs to cover.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. With Jarrett Allen out, and I don't have the actual record written down, but since he's been out, they haven't done well. The Cavs, they've lost more than they've won in that time period. So I'm pretty comfortable. I personally, I would stay away from this just because 8.5 is a big number, especially for the playoffs. But because we just saw what Brooklyn did to them on the 8th, winning by 11, obviously it's possible. I would stay away from this spread, but if I were to lean, I would lean towards Cleveland, and I feel very confident in my Brooklyn money line pick just because of Kyrie and Kevin Durant. Honestly, they've been there. They're not. This isn't a new stage for them. They've played on the Olympic teams. They've won not national championships, but world championships, honestly. And then they've also been MVPs of the NBA Finals. So experience does come into play. Experience trumps a lot of things, down the stretch. If the game's tight, that experience helps prevent you from making those careless mistakes. So I think that's going to be the edge in this game. If Jarrett Allen were playing, I would imagine this spread would be closer to like 4.5, maybe 5.5 points. I think him being out is what's pushing it, but 8.5 points just seems like a lot for a playoff game.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, definitely agree with all those points you made there. Cleveland definitely had their fair share of injuries. Colin Sexton isn't playing either. And who knows? I don't even know if Ben Simmons is alive really. So like for Brooklyn. So, but yeah, we'll see. This pretty much when you get to this stage, just survive in advance. People like the teams that are the most healthy usually got a better chance of winning.
Yeah, for sure. I'll tell you one thing that's not alive is Ben Simmons' jump shot. That's been dead for a while.
Oh man, yeah, man, and his confidence. We can go on. We can have a whole segment about Ben
all
Simmons.
day. We can go all day over that. There are a few other picks in this game that I like as far as individual player stats. I have 3 players that I believe are going to get double doubles. So I have Kevin Durant with a double double at minus 105. Kyrie Irving with a double double at plus 290. I think that's a great value, plus 290 for him. And then Evan Mobley, double double at plus 105. I think all 3 of those are pretty solid picks for double doubles. Want to hear what you have to say about that?
Yeah, that's fair. I don't think Kyrie will have a double double. I think he's more so have 20 and maybe 6 dimes or something along those lines. That's just my prediction. I would replace him with Darius Garland. I think he may have a good shot at having a double double. What's the odds on him?
Let me look it up real quick.
Thank you.
Let's see here. So, of course, my account made me make a new password and all that fun stuff that always happens when you haven't changed a password in a while. Let's pull this up. And of course, there's like 8 million pop-ups. Like you are not in an area that allows sports gambling.
Oh my gosh!
It's just the way it goes, man.
Are you using FanDuel Sportsbook?
We don't promote any any apps right now.
I mean, are you?
No free ads.
Right. So are you using a fantasy sports book?
We are. Yep. We're
Okay.
using a mobile sports book app.
Fair enough.
Let's take a look. Double. So Darius Garland is plus 105.
Plus 105. Okay. Yeah, I like those odds.
Yeah. So you think you thinking points and assist?
Points
definitely.
Assist. Definitely points. I mean, he's averaged I think 25. Against Brooklyn this season. So I don't see that. I don't envision that changing. I think he's going to get his. He's definitely had a really good year. Obviously, he was an all-star. So I think he's going to get his. I like Kevin Durant. And that's Evan Mobley will be interesting. We'll see. See how many rebounds he gets. I think he'll get points for sure. We'll see how many rebounds he'll be on the cusp for sure.
So if Mobley, if Allen was there, I would say there's less of a chance that Mobley would get double digit rebounds. But I think because of his increase in minutes, and his increase in what the team needs him to do, I think we're gonna see a double double out of him.
Right. And I like Andre Drummond as well. He's going to get 82 rebounds at least, and I imagine he'll get 10 points at least.
So the thing with Andre Drummond, and I wanted to follow you on that. I can't trust him with points. Like he's going to get somewhere between 12 and 20 rebounds. Points are a little bit more questionable, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'm sure with KD and Kyrie, they're going to attack the lane. They're going to get in the lane. He'll luck up again. I mean, that's just 5 field goals. 5 dunks. So
doesn't always happen.
It doesn't, but
doesn't always happen.
That's why they play the game.
Sounds easy, right? It sounds easy when we're sitting here talking about it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so then moving on, talking about rebounds. I got KD over 7.5 rebounds at minus 124.
Yeah, I mean, sure, why not? let's do it. I mean, yeah, he might actually like be a threat to get a triple double. That wouldn't surprise me either. You know, with being playoffs, you know, doing whatever team needs. So it wouldn't surprise me if KD gets a triple double.
I'm with you. I thought about actually going with KD for a triple double. Those odds are plus 850.
Oh.
It's just too questionable.
Yeah, that is a. I mean, you know, if you make that bet, that would be a nice return. But I mean, that's why we do
it. If we were talking about Luka Doncic, for sure, all day making that bet.
Yeah, bad calf and all, right?
Whatever. All right, so we got KD over 7.5 rebounds. I got Andre Drummond over 11.5 rebounds at minus 104. For me, that's almost guaranteed money, right?
Yeah, that's cake.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And then I got Evan Mobley over 9.5 rebounds. That's where it's a little questionable because he can go anywhere from 8 rebounds up to 14 rebounds. So there's that chance that if he's on that lower end, there's a chance that he may come up short. But I'm in this game again because Jarrett Allen's not playing. I'm fairly confident with what's going to be asked of him. That 9.5 rebounds shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of shots, going up. Brooklyn is pretty fast paced team, so they'll get a lot of possession. So I imagine he'll get that number, or not 9.5, but over.
Yeah. Then I got Kyrie with over 6.5 assists.
Yeah, I'm going to under on that.
Really?
Yeah. Sometimes I think it's going to be more scoring. With this, your playoff lives ahead of you. So I think he's going to try to score. But I mean, I could be wrong. So
could be wrong.
Yeah, you're probably hoping I'm wrong. So just because you can rub my face, I know you are.
I tell you what, you're not wrong about that. That's for sure.
Yep, I know.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. The last one I have here, and this one is more so I feel pretty confident about everything we've talked about so far, at least everything that I've had on my end. I think there's a very good chance of it happening. This one's I'm a little less confident about. I have Kevin Durant 4 or more made 3-pointers.
I mean,
plus 230. I feel like is a good value.
I mean, it just depends. He's got a silky shot, man. I mean, but sometimes you just go cold. I meat that happens. Obviously Brooklyn's in trouble, but
right.
So I mean, I think he'll at least get 4. I'm going to push on that. We'll go push.
That's fine, because if it pushes at 4, then that's a win.
Yeah.
So
well,
it's 4 or more.
Sure. You get your money back. Yeah.
So I'll definitely take that. So that wraps up the Cavs and the Nets. Like we mentioned, the winner gets the 7 seed. They go on to play Boston. And then the loser ends up playing the winner of the Hawks and Hornets game to eventually go on to play the Heat. Right, the Heat got the number one seed. So that'll be our first matchup on the eastern side of the play-in. So let's go ahead and talk about our first matchup on the western side of the play-in tournament. So for this, we have the LA Clippers with a record of 42-40 at the Minnesota Timberwolves with a record of 46-36. The winner of this gets the 7 seed, and then they move on to play the Memphis Grizzlies, Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. Against the spread, the Clippers are 33-32. The Minnesota Timberwolves are 29-2. My math is not adding up correctly on the Clippers for the total number of games, so that those numbers may not be accurate.
Yeah.
I definitely probably wrote something down incorrectly there. So the Timberwolves are favored by 3 points here. The over-under is at 230.5. some key injuries here. Obviously, Kawhi Leonard's still been out with that knee injury that he suffered in the playoffs last year, the partially torn ACL. And then Luke Kennard's out with a hamstring. That's questionable. I haven't heard any updates one way or another if anyone's leaning on whether he's going to play or not. So that one's still a little up in the air, but Kawhi's definitely out. However, Powell and Paul George, they were able to make quicker comebacks than what was expected. So we do get to see playoff P back in action.
Yeah.
So with this game, for me personally, I think Minnesota is the better team from top to bottom. I think the Lakers have done well not the Lakers. The Lakers are trash.
The Lakers are definitely trash.
The Clippers have done well to get to this position. They still have Nicholas Batum, Marcus Morris, Zubac, Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson's had a pretty good year, considering not having the star players on the team with him most of the year. And then on the other side, you got Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt. So you got some guys. I feel that the Timberwolves have the more potent starting five, if that makes sense. So I feel pretty confident with taking the Timberwolves -3 here. Love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, and hey, we're back. I'm going with the Clippers. And I'm actually going to pick them to win the game. I think that, I think it's time that we discuss, Tyronn Lue as one of the best coaches in the NBA. He's taken this roster, without two of his best players for most of the season, and they're still right around the playoffs. Oh, hi, Ruby.
Welcome to the show, Ruby.
Hello, Ruby. Just making your appearance. Okay, but yeah, and I just think I just trust them more. They got a little bit more experience. They were in the Western Conference Finals last year.
Different team last year.
But are they? Are they though? They got it. Their backcourt's front court's going to be tough. Zubac is tough. You got Marcus Morris. Another tough guy there. I agree with you. They do have more potent offense with Karl Anthony Towns. D'Angelo Russell. Anthony Edwards, all those guys are going to get theirs. But I don't know, man. I just feel like the Clippers, they're a tougher team. I think they're going to pull it out, man. And they are the deeper team as well.
All right, well, we're gonna have to agree to disagree on this one. But if you are taking the Clippers to win, that is +130. So being money line +130 and the Timberwolves are -154. That's not a huge gap there.
Yeah, so that's not a big prediction,
Right. Yeah. I mean, they're essentially saying that this game could go either way, which we know, which is why there's a 3-point spread, which I think a 3-point spread in the playoffs is a little more realistic, especially with the play in like that. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not gonna happen, but I would say it's pretty unlikely that we're gonna see any huge blowouts. I would venture to say we're probably not gonna see any double-digit games, just because of what's at stake.
Yeah, if it is, I would predict it would be Cleveland and Brooklyn. Just if everybody can play well, if all the Nets can play well, compliment KD and Kyrie. 7-11. That could, that they can beat anybody. When their two are going, then like they got all the role players going. So that would be, if any game would be a blowout, it would be that game. But yeah, other than that, all these games should be close. So.
Yeah, and I guess I agree with you. Going back to the original part of our conversation on that last game, Cleveland's not supposed to be here. whereas Brooklyn is. So if these
Whoa. They are supposed to be here. They won 44 games. Nobody predicted them to be here. Zach.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Stop taking my word so seriously. Everyone's supposed to be there. They're all professional basketball players.
Yeah.
So my other bets for this game, I do like Zubac over 9.5 points at minus 112. I think that one's pretty solid. He's good from the free throw line. He scores down low. I think 10 points is not anything crazy for him.
Yeah, and Minnesota's inside defense isn't really all that great. So I mean, I do like that prediction.
Then I got Paul George actually going under 28.5 points. I got him under 28.5 at minus 116.
Yeah, that is a lot of points. I think he is going over, but that is because I think they're going to win, so he's going to have a big game.
You don't believe he's going over. You're just going against the grain. Makes you feel better. Makes you feel better to not agree with me.
28.5 is a lot of points, but I think they're going to win. He's going to have to play well. So let's go, PG. Playoff P.
Sticking with Paul George, I do have him going over 6.5 rebounds at minus 142.
Yeah, let's there's Minnesota is another team that has got a pretty quick pace. They're going to take some shots up. So I do like that.
Let's see here. What else do I got? Oh, I got Karl Anthony Towns under. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Definitely not under. Karl Anthony Towns over 11.5 rebounds at minus 106.
Yeah, I like that pick. He's probably one of the tallest players and probably one of the better rebounders, on the court. So yeah, I like that pick.
Okay. And then Anthony Edwards over 3.5 assists at minus 158.
Sure, why not?
I feel like 3.5 assists is too low of a number. You can luck your way into 3.5 assists.
Yeah, I mean, but we'll see who's going to do most of the ball handling. Probably I think D'Angelo will probably do more of the ball handling. So I would imagine he'll get more assists. Anthony's more of a scorer. So you also got to think about Patrick Beverley too. So he doesn't really have to do a whole lot of the passing. So I mean, you got two other players that can do that.
Yeah, Patrick Beverley, dude's just a pest.
And he's going against his former team, so they got that revenge factor too.
Yeah, he's gonna piss Paul George off. That's just gonna end up in a fight, or him and Marcus Morris actually. Whew. Marcus Morris would knock his ass out, but
yeah, I mean him and Reggie Jackson. I imagine he'll guard Reggie Jackson. So he's going to get under his skin or try to get under his skin. So we'll see how that goes.
That's his skill set.
Yeah, I mean he's a solid defender too.
I'll give him that, but
that was kind of a backhanded compliment. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm all about. So,
this guy.
Speaking of Reggie Jackson, now that we are going to transition away from Pat Bev, Reggie Jackson, I have him over 4.5 assists at minus 128.
Yeah, I like that.
Again, I just think that if you have the ball in your hands that much,
yeah,
you can luck your way into 5 assists.
Yeah. Who do you think will have more assists, him or you think he will have more assists than Paul George?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for Reggie Jackson to put up a double-double.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm either. I can see that. I could definitely see it happening.
Yeah. That's all that I have for this game. Either one of these two games, like we talked about with the last game. So the winner of this game goes on to play Memphis. The loser of this game goes on to play the winner of the Spurs Pelicans game. And then the winner of that matchup goes on to play the Phoenix Suns. So that's kind of how this is all going to shake out. Right now, though, not knowing anyone who's advancing out of the play-in, who is your early pick to be NBA champions this year?
Milwaukee Bucks.
Really?
Yep.
Taking the Bucks.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, again, I don't think that that's crazy. That's a safe pick. But let's see here. I'm gonna try to not go with the safe. I want to say the Mavericks, right? Like I want to say the Mavericks, being a Mavericks fan, but I just don't think that we have the big men to make that happen. I think we're going to get exploited when we play against somebody like Denver, if it comes to that.
I think White has been playing well though.
Yeah,
but I mean, if you guys get past the Jazz, which I don't see happening, you guys then you got to get got DeAndre Ayton you got to worry about. I mean,
there's a lot of big guys for sure.
Gobert's going to cause problems either way it goes. So good luck with that. That championship prediction.
So I said I wanted to go with them.
Which is saying that you think they're going to win. So
that's just me being a fan. So
I want my favorite teams to win too, but I would never say that.
Well, you're not a real fan.
No, I mean I wouldn't. If we're talking about who's going to win the championship, I wouldn't just say I want them to win. Because I mean that should be inferred. It should be inferred that you think is going to win. So which means you think that the Mavericks are going to win. Makes sense if you don't think about it.
It does make sense if you don't think about it. I'm actually going to go with, assuming everyone can get healthy, Golden State.
Ooh.
That's assuming everyone gets healthy. Draymond is fully back. Clay's been back for a little while. He's
starting to heat up.
A little bit. Yeah. Steph is Steph. Big guy. Why am I drawing a blank on the big guy?
Looney.
Yeah. So I think you got like Jordan Poole. He's playing well.
They got depth too. They got some depth. So it's not impossible. I don't know, man. I don't think they're going to get past the Nuggets, even with Steph.
So do you? So you think the champion is going to come out of the East? Is what you're saying?
Yep, I just said the Bucks are going to win.
Okay, I think if anyone's going to come out of the East, I would. I don't know. Miami's tough.
Miami is tough. They're well coached. They can go 10 deep. They're going to be tough. But however, when I look at the roster, they don't have the best player in the NBA. So
because he plays for the
Mavs. Milwaukee does. So yeah,
best player plays for the Mavs.
Best player plays for Milwaukee Bucks. So yeah,
we will table that for another conversation.
Yeah.
But that's going to wrap up our first episode back.
Avery. But before we do that, how do you feel about the play-in? Like, do you agree with the play-in tournament at all, or do you just think it's a waste of time? Well, how do you feel about it?
I guess I don't fully understand the guarantee of having like the 9 and 10 seed play to have a spot, especially if there's a large gap. I think that was a big thing when they were in the bubble, where you had to be within X amount of games to be eligible for the play-in. I didn't dislike that. I don't like the fact that if you're in a 10 seed and you're 4 or 5 games back, you still have a chance. I just feel like that's rewarding you for not playing your best basketball during the season.
Right.
At that point, then we're kind of talking about like March Madness, where you have these Cinderella stories who just happen to get hot at the right time, that can make a little bit of a run. Now, would it be great to see somebody like San Antonio, who I have a lot of respect for their organization? I'd love to see them make a little bit of a run, but I don't think that they should be in it.
No, that's fair. It did. I mean, I'm all for meaningful basketball, so I do like, you know, these teams are actually going to play hard because the season's on the line. So I do like meaningful basketball. Um, but yeah, I do agree with you. I think they should change it to where maybe if teams are certain games ahead or apart for that seventh or
Yeah.
eighth spot. I think more like the MLB. Like they have that one playing game. Before they start their wild card. I think it should be something along those lines because like if San Antonio, I'm not, I don't see the records in front of me.
I got him right here. I was actually just about to bring him up.
Yeah.
Before you hit your point, just so this will probably help your point. But if we look at 7 and 8, there's a 4-game separation there. But then if you look at 7 and 10, you're looking at a 12-game separation.
Yeah, that is insane to me. Like
that doesn't make any sense. So you're telling me that there's a chance that if the Timberwolves lose tomorrow night and then the Spurs beat the Pelicans and the Spurs beat the Timberwolves, that the Timberwolves don't get in the playoffs after being 12 games ahead? That doesn't seem right to me.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree with that. Because that's wild. Like I think it should be like a certain amount of games. Maybe one, like 2 or 3. Like these, we should be seeing playing games maybe every 3 or 4 years, not like every year. Because because of the records. Close records, whatever. But yeah, like somebody potentially being 12 games behind, the 7th or 8th place to get in the playoffs. So that's insane to me, and that shouldn't happen. I do like, I do respect the Spurs. I have cheered for him. Tim Duncan's one of my favorite players. But I hope they don't make the playoffs because I'm not trying to watch them. I'd rather watch like Clippers or the Timberwolves or even the Pelicans. They got some younger talent on there with and they got a good mix of young and old talent with Brandon Ingram, Jackson Hayes, CJ McCollum, all those guys. So I'd rather see that happen as opposed to the Spurs. But I do still respect Pop. So, but 12 games behind 7th, 8th place, and you can be in the playoffs. So yeah, that's a little wild.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it makes a lot more sense over on the East where there's a 1-game separation between 7 and 10.
Yeah, like everybody, all the top 10 teams are just kind of just all in a all muddled in there together. Like one win there can sway the whole division. But yeah, 12 games, that's a little crazy. But more like 1 game, that makes more sense.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah, so that wraps up everything for this episode. Thank you to everybody who came back to listen. This video will be on YouTube. Doing a lot more with YouTube now with my other podcast, That Guy Zach. I'm That Guy Zach. And
or is this your clone? You got a clone out there?
I feel bad if there's another person that looks like me. So check out YouTube, Bourbon and Bets, and then check us out on all social media as well. Bourbon and Bets podcast on Facebook, and then Bourbon and Bets on Instagram. Don't really have a Twitter anymore. Twitter's not really my game. Tried it, hate it.
Musk.
What's that?
Neither is Elon Musk, but
hey, he's like, this isn't for me. I'm just gonna buy it. It's gonna become largest shareholder. That guy. Yeah. Imagine having that much money. I just put it all in a parlay. So
Bourbon and Bets, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. So do me a favor, go on YouTube, like the video, leave a comment, share your picks, subscribe, obviously, turn on notifications, all that fun stuff. We're going to be doing a lot more episodes. Avery and I are going to be hanging out quite a bit throughout these playoffs, talking about the games. It is going to be a little difficult for us to put out episodes every night. So follow us, like I mentioned, on Instagram. I'll be sharing my picks. If Avery sends me any of his picks, I'll share those on there as well. hang out with us, enjoy the conversation. Don't enjoy the conversation, but if you do enjoy it, make sure you tell as many people as possible so we can get this taken off. And then when Ohio finally flips that switch to make everything live, hopefully we can be your go-to source for all of your sports gambling insights. So that's our ultimate goal. But Avery, thank you again. Is Ruby in the room?
I don't see her. She is, but I'll tell her you said hi.
I was gonna have you put her on camera so we could.
Yeah.
Dogs always do better on YouTube than what even though my face kind of looks like a dog.
Oh Jesus! Don't
self-deprecating, man.
Yeah. Good grief.
But again, I appreciate your time, taking some time out of your day to chat with me. It was enjoyable as always. I'm looking forward to the next conversation.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you having me once again. Looking forward to doing some more episodes with you. Looking forward to seeing some crazy NBA action here. If it can live up to the NFL season, which nothing ever will, we're going to see some spectacular playoffs and some really good basketball. So looking forward to it. It's a good time of year till it ends, and then we got baseball to worry about.
Or not worry about. We'll just wait for
football.
We'll just wait for football.
Yeah.
All right, man. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, man.